Okay, hi guys, welcome to Final Cut Pro tutorial. Going to do a very quick Final Cut Pro tutorial, and today we're going to just be looking at the basics of user preferences and system settings. Okay, so when you come into Final Cut Pro, this is how it looks. I'm going to do another tutorial next on the outlay of Final Cut Pro, but for now we're just going to look at these two. So in user preferences, really you don't need to worry too much about these, but I'm just going to go through them really quickly. They just tell you all about what preferences are set up. So for example, your autosave vaults, so you can change these. If you want to save a copy every 5 minutes, you can do that. You can keep a maximum of these number of the project, so that'll be 40. It's quite good, it's very useful in case your computer crashes, you've always got an autosave vault. Levels of undo, you can obviously change this. I would recommend changing that to 99 because then obviously if you make a lot of mistakes you can always go back 99 times. The rest of this, don't worry too much about it. In terms of editing, it tells you your still freeze duration, so if you take a still picture of something it's going to be 12 seconds. Preview and post and pre-rolls, again, like I wouldn't worry about these at the moment. They're not very important to you. You're just getting started, so it's fine. Again, all of these are a bit more complex. Don't worry. Labels, these might be quite useful to you. Good take, best take. You can color roll, color key. Sorry, you can color key any of your clips. They are maybe quite useful if we want to use that. Timeline options, always the timeline is going to start at this phase. You can see that down here, 01000000, which is here. So obviously you can change that if you want to, but I wouldn't. Say default number of tracks, 1 video, 4 audio. So you can see here 1 video, 4 audio. You don't need again to worry about these, that's fine. Render and playback, this is not something for you to worry about. You've got filters and frame blending. All of this is just a preference setup. You don't need to change it. That's going to be the same every time you come in. Your frame rate resolution is 100%. That's what you want to look at it at. The quality is normal, and your codec will be the same as what you're using. And your output, obviously, this output is coming onto a laptop, for example, so it's got a stereo monitoring left and right system. If you wanted to, if you had other output systems, they would come up here and they would change. Okay, so there's user preferences, a very quick look at user preferences. System settings, I'm only going to look at scratch disks because the rest you don't need to worry about. Setting the scratch disk is really important. I'll do a separate tutorial on this probably next. But basically this is where all your video capture, audio capture, video render and audio render will go when you're logging or capturing footage onto your computer system. So it's quite a simple way to set it. You choose the folder, so for example you probably would want to go into your Macintosh HD and set it up in here. Okay, it will just pick it up automatically when it goes in there. Alternatively, if I cancel that and go on here, it's already in here, right? So it's already in Neil George documents, Final Cut Pro documents. You can obviously set it wherever you want, and it will create all of these files within that section. So it will create your audio and normal render files, your auto save vault, your capture scratch, and then your waveform sound cache files and still cache files. So obviously if you choose that, it's all set up, 68 gigabytes on there to play with. If you wanted to set another one, obviously if you had external drives you can set that, that's fine. Minimum allowable free space on scratch disks is this, so that's obviously you need to have that much available space, which is nothing. You know, when you're working with video you're looking at hundreds of gigs. So, you know, you don't need to worry about this, but just make sure when you come in the first time, Final Cut Pro, system settings, scratch disk, set it somewhere you know, bang, off you go. You've got no problem, you know where it is, you're not going to lose your stuff. Okay, great. Okay, so the next tutorial I will look at a bit of an overlay of Final Cut Pro. But for now, thanks for joining.